Okay, Doug.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Falls Township Zoning Hearing Board. Could everybody please stand for the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Tonight we had our reorganization meeting before this meeting took place. I'd like to see if somebody would make a motion for chairperson.
I would like to move that Doug Mole be appointed as chair of the zoning hearing board.
Someone like to second that?
I would like to second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, do we have a someone to select vice chair?
I would like to nominate Bill Kiernan as vice chair.
Somebody like to second that?
I would second that.
Okay, great. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, and someone like to make a motion for secretary? We lost sound.
Yeah, no, I got lost too, yeah.
That's okay.
I'd like to make that motion to nominate Lonnie Strelick as secretary. Thank you.
Someone like to second it?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Great. Also, we'd like to keep the meetings every second Tuesday at 7 p.m. All in favor, say aye.
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 And Lainey, if you could please read the solicitor's letter for us.
Yes, we received a letter from Keith Bigleymeyer, Esquire, asking us to Mr. Takita. I would respectfully request the board to consider reappointing me solicitor to the Falls Township Zoning Hearing Board for the year 2023. We would be billed at a rate of $185 per hour for any work performed. If you or any of the board members should need any further information, kindly contact me as soon as possible. And thank you for the opportunity to continue to assist the Falls Township Hearing Board.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Lainey, could you read for court reporter, please?
Sure. We received a letter from Karen Brondorf asking Mr. Takita to retain her as court reporter for the Falls Township Zoning Hearing Board for 2023. Her rates would be $160 per appearance fee and $50 an hour thereafter. The page rate will be $450 per page, and she thanks us for our consideration to continue to keep her on with us.
Great. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. All right, so that takes care of that. I guess we can do some introductions now. We got as Secretary Lainey Strelick. Vice Chair is Bill Kiernan. Board Member Aaron Mackey, and Chairperson Doug Mole. And our solicitor would be Keith Bigleymeyer. Our court reporter is Karen Browndorf. And from the Falls Township, we got Matt Takita and Ed Neubauer. We ready to do first petitions for tonight? So, first petition on the, oh, wait, you know what? We got to make a motion for Oak Village.
Yes.
For continuance to February 14th meeting. Someone like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion that we continue it to our next meeting of February, what was that date?
14.
February 14th.
February 14th.
Someone
I'll
like to
second.
second that?
I'll second
All in
that.
favor?
Aye.
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 Great.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry to interrupt. If we can, the letter that was sent by Mr. McGinnis, who represents the applicant, if we can mark his continuance letter as the HB1, he gave the zoning hearing board an extension to hear this matter pursuant to the MPC and also Falls Township Code. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to petition number 1. Thecla and Leslie Benjamin, 414 Andover Road, Fairless Hills, Pennsylvania, 19030. tax map parcel number 13-007-158, zone NCR. We're requesting a dimension variance to construct a rear addition, which is over the allowable impervious surface coverage, section 209-20F and table 1. If you could please come up and get sworn in by our court reporter, I'd appreciate that.
Mr. Chairman, can I mark some exhibits for this application?
Absolutely.
We'll mark the application for zoning ordinance appeal as ZHB1 along with the accompanying statement from the applicant. 2 will be a permit denial letter from Falls Township to the applicant dated December 14, 2022. 3 is a plan at the top written plot plan for this application. 4 is an impervious calculation sheet. 5 will be 5 pages containing 5 colored photographs, one of which shows that the property was posted as required. 6 is the letter from Falls Township to the applicant and also the neighbors notifying them of tonight's meeting. That letter is dated December 30th, 2022, again sent by Falls Township. 7 is proof of publication in the Bucks County Courier Times showing this matter was published December 27th and then again January 3rd, 2023. That is all the board exhibits, Mr. Chairman, and I'm satisfied the appropriate notice have been satisfied. This matter can proceed.
Thank you, Keith. Mr. Benjamin, can you let us know what's going on?
So my wife and I are seeking permit to construct a master bedroom in the back of our house. And that's due to our 3 kids growing up and becoming adults. In addition to that, my mother-in-law is aging and she cannot walk as much as she is expected to.
Is that all, sir?
Yes, sir.
Questions from the board? Aaron?
So I can see in the application and in the picture that the place we're going to build already has a concrete slab on it. So
Yes.
you're not actually increasing any impervious surface that
No.
wasn't already there. No further questions.
Thank you, Aaron. Laney?
That was my observation also, that we already have a concrete slab, so it doesn't seem to be adding anything or taking anything away from what already is there. So other than that, I don't have any further questions.
Thank you, Laney. Bill?
The only question I have is the slab, that's the existing slab there, that's already an approved slab, correct?
Correct.
Then I have no other questions.
And
Thank you, Bill.
when we bought the house, it was already there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Bill. And I see what you're trying to do here, sir. And I don't have any questions. Any public comment? I guess that's no public comment?
Yeah, let the record reflect there was no public comment, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Anything from the other lines, Mr. Tequita?
One point of clarification, the rejection letter that was issued references an addition, that the addition will have a separation distance from the pool of only 6 feet, which is less than the required 10 feet. This is no longer an issue, so it's not part of this application.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Tequita. Okay, someone would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. I move that the application of the Thecla and Leslie Benjamin requesting dimensional variance from section 209-20.f and table 1 of the Falls Township zoning ordinance be granted to construct a rear addition which is over the allowable impervious surface coverage at the property located at 1414 Andover Road, Fairless Hills, PA 19030, and depicted on the plans and in accordance with testimony presented to the zoning hearing board.
Somebody like to second that?
If somebody's going to second, just correct the address. It's 414 Andover.
I would like to second that motion, but I would like to correct that the address is 414 Andover Road and not 1414.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. Cannon, you accept that correction? It's your motion.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, 414.
Okay, Laney, pull the board, please.
Sure. Aaron?
Aye.
Bill?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. And Doug?
Yes. Great. Your, wait for you, you'll get the
Thank you.
paperwork from our solicitor. Thank you. Are we ready for petition number 2? Fleck Real Estate Holdings LLC, 100 Ben Fairless Drive, Fairless Hills, Pennsylvania, 19030. Tax map parcel 13-51-1-13, zone MPM, requesting a dimensional variance to allow for the widening of an existing driveway from 25 feet wide to 61 feet wide. This allows for better tractor trailer circulation on the property, section 209-42E. They can come up, and if someone needs to be sworn in, please get sworn in by our corporate reporter.
I do. Yes, my name is Barry Fleck, and I'm president of Fleck Holding Real Estate, yes.
Eric Clay, Skillmore and Associates. Clace is spelled C-L-A-S-E-C.
Mr. Chairman, can I mark some exhibits for this application?
Absolutely.
We'll mark the application for zoning ordinance appeal as ZHB1 along with the accompanying statement. 2 will be a notification to Mr. McGinnis, who represents the applicant. That letter is from Falls Township giving notice of tonight's meeting dated January 3rd. 3 will be 4 pages containing 4 colored photographs, one of which shows that the property was posted as required. 4 is plans for this proposed driveway. 5, proof of publication in the Bucks County Courier-Times showing this matter was published December 27th, and then again January 3rd. That is all the board exhibits I've been handed by Mr. Bryce McGuigan, who is here for Mr. McGinnis. That's a certification of service. I'm going to mark that as A1, if you don't have any other pre-marked exhibits.
No others.
Great. And the letter that appears, this letter was sent to all the addresses that appears on the back page. Is that accurate?
That is accurate, correct.
Great. Mr. Chairman, I'm satisfied the appropriate notice have been satisfied. This matter can proceed.
All right, thank you, sir. Okay, what do we got going on?
All right, good evening, board. Bryce McGuigan from Begley Carlin, here on behalf of the applicant. Mr. McGinnis sends his regards, but unfortunately he had an unavoidable conflict in his calendar this evening, so you're stuck with me. Anyhow, I'm here tonight on behalf of Barry Fleck and his company, Fleck Real Estate Holdings, LLC, the owner of 100 Ben Fairless Drive, the property that we're here for this evening. The property at issue is approximately 7 acres and is currently part of the MPM, Materials Processing and Manufacturing Zoning District. Barry actually owns this property together with 300 Ben Fairless Drive, which sits to the north. Both properties are actually separated by a narrow lane that's part of the Lidl property to the rear. If you look, I believe this is part of ZHB Exhibit 4, the plans that were submitted with the application. If you're actually looking at this, and I'll try to keep the microphone here so everyone can hear me. If you're looking at this property, the one at issue obviously is subject to the application. You see right at the center, 300 Ben Fairless Drive, which is right over to the far left of the site plan. Then you have this narrow lane in between. Now that lane is actually, it's not currently developed. It's a very small concrete strip with grass on all sides. And this particular site plan shows the more global development that is being considered and that's intended for the area. However, what we're here for today is for a small part of this, which is the shaded portion right towards the center of the actual site plan. That is a little spur of concrete, part of the island, and what we're proposing today is to remove that. That is pretty much the only improvement we're here for, requesting relief related to this project. That variance, we need one variance to do it, and that variance is to essentially widen the existing driveway from 25 feet to 61 feet. The reason why we want to do this is safety, to help with a presently existing safety issue involving truck traffic and access to the property. So to better understand why this is necessary, I think it's important to actually understand the property here at issue. So this parcel, the 100 Ben Fairless, it fronts Ben Fairless Drive. It's configured north and south. The north is more so to the left. The south is more so to the right of Exhibit ZHB4. The lot's currently improved by two buildings. You have the north building to the left of the parcels. The south building is to the right. The north building actually has two leaseholds. To the far left is a warehouse building that's used by Barry for his business. It's actually located at 300 Ben Fairless, which you see at the very far left of the actual site plan. The right portion of the first building on the 100 Ben Fairless parcel is a separate concrete business. That particular business, together with this larger south building, they receive their access primarily through this middle driveway on the parcel. However, that north half of the building on 100 Ben Fairless, that's the parcel, that's the issue here, that's the problem. Because this particular warehouse only receives access through this particular driveway to the north side of the parcel. Now I have here actually, which I think will help everybody get a better understanding, a satellite image of the property, which I would like to mark as applicant's exhibit 2.
Perfect. Thank you.
So I apologize because I know I didn't provide an electronic copy ahead of time, and that was my mistake. So I'm going to do my best to hold this up and kind of go through it with everyone. All right. So I'm holding here applicant's exhibit 2. Okay. And this exhibit, when you're looking at it, this shows the northern half of 100 Ben Fairless Drive, the property we're here for today. And as you can see, there is one narrow point of access to the warehouse unit currently. There's also a front area that is essentially serves as the loading dock and loading area of the property. This small little lane next to it that's semi-undeveloped, that's what you see on the site plan that's going to be improved by a more traditional drivable access. That's not part of my client's property. It's part of the property to the rear. We actually are in the process of granting an easement over that property in order to help make this project function as you see here. The issue right now is this is a warehouse that's obviously serviced by tractor trailers who need to unload and load at the property. The way that they currently access the property by driving south on Ben Fairless, and then they have to back up into the property. They have to stop. They have to go into a different travel lane to help back up into the property and back up to the loading dock, which obviously is a problem. Tractor trailers, not only do you have to stop, they have to go into a separate lane, and when traffic is coming down that roadway, which is pretty straight and narrow, and traffic sometimes goes a little fast, it causes problems, especially in light of a lot of the development that's happening in that area with regard to the North Point project. This is going to get even worse moving forward. So part of what we're proposing here is to help be proactive and try to fix this problem that's already an existing issue. But again, it's going to get worse. So returning back to ZHB4. What we're now proposing here, there we go. All right, so what we're now proposing here is this lane is going to get redeveloped. That's obviously not before you tonight. But what the goal is going to be is to now trucks, instead of proceeding south on Ben Fairless and having to go into the other lane of travel to swing around and back up, now what they're going to do is going to come down this little lane, going to go through to the property, and removing this concrete is going to allow them to put the nose of the truck kind of more so towards Ben Fairless without going onto the road, and then back into the loading spaces. They unload, and then they leave the site. So the whole point of this, where now what these trucks have to do is they have to not only stop on the roadway, merge into a different lane of traffic, and then come into the site, this is going to be a complete circuit where there's no stopping on the thoroughfare, and there's a fully internalized loading and unloading process. And again, to do this, the only thing that we have to do and that we're asking for tonight is to get the authority to remove this little portion of the island. That's basically it. And you can tell by the aerials here that are part of Applicant's Exhibit 2, it's basically kind of just an odd little cutout. So what we're proposing is to just get rid of that cutout and that right angle to just draw that straight down to the road essentially. We're going to make it look nice, but essentially that's the plan, and we need this one variance to do it. So this is purely a safety issue. This isn't an issue that we really created, but we're trying to help fix it. And to do it, we need this one variance. And I have with me tonight two separate witnesses who have already been sworn. I have Barry Fleck, who's the owner of the business at issue and the property at issue, and he'd be more than happy to testify to some details as to what the problem is, how long they've been having it, and what some of the practical things they notice every day. I also have here Eric Clace from Gilmore & Associates, the engineer on the project, who can provide some testimony regarding the actual engineering pertinent details of this application, some of the safety concerns from an engineering and traffic perspective. If the board has any questions, obviously I'll be more than happy to present the testimony of the witnesses. Otherwise, each witness is prepared to attest to the statements that I made tonight. And even if the board has any questions following that, obviously we're here at your pleasure. So without any further ado, why don't I bring up Barry first?
Good evening. I'm sorry.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Don't jump. You can see this here. Don't jump the gun, Barry.
Okay.
All right. So, did you hear all the statements that I made to the board?
Yes,
All right. Did you understand them all?
totally,
Do you agree with them all?
absolutely.
Would you be willing to adopt my statements to the board as your testimony here this evening?
Yes, sir.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Now, again, as you said earlier, this is a safety issue. It's really made possible by the cooperation of Lytle, who's agreed to allow us to use that in lane there, and it just corrects a situation which is really very dangerous and only going to get worse as time goes on.
All right. Thank you very much, Barry. You can have a
Thank you.
seat. Eric, your turn. Do you hear everything I said to the board?
Yes, I did.
All right. Do you understand it all?
I did.
Do you agree with it all?
Yes, I do.
You willing to adopt my statements to the board as your testimony here this evening?
Yes.
All right, and I would be more than happy to go through some of Mr. Clace's background, his work history and education if the board deems appropriate, but otherwise I'd like to submit him as an expert in civil engineering.
We'll accept that.
All right, I appreciate that. I'm sure Mr. Clace appreciates it too. Anything else you want to add?
No, not at this time.
All right. Thank you very much, board. That concludes our presentation. And obviously, I know there's a couple members of the audience here who are interested potentially in this project. And if the board has any questions or if the members of the audience do, myself and my team would be more than happy to address those. Thank you.
Thank you. Aaron, you have anything?
So you mentioned a couple times the property in the back, and forgive me if I have the name wrong, Lidl.
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 It looks like Lidl, but is Lidl.
Lidl. So there's some, you mentioned that there's some cooperation from them. How does that affect the property, the Lidl property, this property? I mean, if that's, Lidl sells their property to, Joe X next week, and Joe X says, well, I don't want your trailers there anymore.
And that's one of the reasons why we're working on an easement right now.
An
It's just in the process
Yeah.
of getting signed and recorded.
Is there anyone from that organization that is prepared to talk tonight, or?
We don't have anyone from Lidl tonight. And
Okay.
obviously, if the board would be willing to condition this on a recorded easement, that's in the process anyway, and none of this works without it. And from what I understand from Mr. McGinnis, who is primarily handling those negotiations, it's just ready to be signed right now.
Okay. So my other quick question is just, I thought I understood based on the site map, but then when I'm looking at the picture, I'm having a hard time understanding where there's a chunk of concrete, like, because this all looks like grass that you're taking away.
It's literally, if you're looking at it, it parallels the top edge of the building. It's a tiny little strip.
I see.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, I see.
Exactly. It's kind of a funky little area, and it's what makes it more confusing is on the other side of that little strip is Barry's property.
So this is not an issue of impervious coverage. It's really just about the size of the driveway.
Correct. That area is
Very good.
already
Got it.
impervious.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Laney?
I can see why there's a problem here with your trucks coming in and out of there. It's a pretty good angle there. That's not really conducive to a swing of a truck. So I don't see why we shouldn't have any problem with this. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. That's all I have.
Okay, Bill, you have anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, no, that was a great demonstration. I don't have anything either. Is there any public comment?
Let the record reflect there was none, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Anything from the township, Mr. Tequita?
Nothing from a township.
Great, thank you. Somebody like to make a motion?
Sure, I'll go ahead and make that motion. I move that the application of Fleck Real Estate Holdings, LLC, requesting a dimensional variance from section 209-F2-E of the Falls Township zoning ordinance be granted to allow for the widening of an existing driveway from 25 foot wide to 61 feet wide on the property located at 100 Ben Fairless Drive, Fairless Hills, PA 19030, as depicted on the plans and in accordance with the testimony presented to the zoning hearing board.
Someone like to second that?
I'll second that.
I'll second that. I'll go.
Thanks. All in favor? Oh, I'm
Aye.
sorry. I'm sorry. Laney, pull the board.
Aaron?
Aye.
Bill?
Yes.
I'm a yes. And Doug?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Someone like to make a motion to end the meeting?
I'll make the motion to end the meeting if you really want to.
Someone like to second that?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Sure.
All right, great.
Aye.
I'll see you guys next month, and I should be in person.
Thanks, Doug.
Good job, Doug.